So Yenni and John shared some sweets. Yenni had 80 more sweets than John. After Yenni gave 20% of her sweets to John, John have 20 more sweets than Yenni now. So how many sweets did Yenni give to John? Alright, so for this question, we have a transfer, which is Yenni giving a proportion of her sweets to John. In fact, they mentioned 20%. Okay, and the difficulty with this question is that they did not give us any actual number of sweets for any one of them. Okay, so I do not know how many sweets does Yenny have, neither do I for John. All right, so in fact, they only started off by giving us a difference at the beginning, 80 more. And in the end, they also gave us a difference. Okay, so in the before area, they give us a difference. After also give us a difference. For such questions, using a model to represent your data will be easier to solve. Now, of course, you can use before change after method. However, if you use before change after method, it might be a bit more difficult because you have a model in the before, a model in the after. So normally when we are given differences like this in the before and after, we typically draw a model to represent. Okay, so let's do that. So Yenny, we start off with 80 more sweets than John first. So if you are relying on model method, make sure your models are big enough. Okay, so Yenny 80 more than John. So we're going to write down 80 like this. Now we're going to show the transfer. Yenny giving 20% to John. Now, but before I show the transfer, it would be easier to translate this 20% to a simplest fraction first. Okay, so this will be 1 out of 5. 20 out of 100 simplifies 1 out of 5. Now, I need to show Yenny giving 1/5 of her sweets to John. Okay, so what does the 5 units represent? So that means the 5 units will be the whole of Yenny's sweets. The total of Yenny is treated as 5 units. Okay, now, however, as you can tell, it is actually difficult, logistically difficult to cut this whole thing into 5 parts, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to proportion this part as 5 units as well as treat the 80 as another 5 units. And then we're going to take away 1 unit each from this side and that side. Okay, so that overall I will be removing away 1/5. Now, if you can't visualize this, you can visualize half first. If I want to take away half from Yenny, basically I cut this, I shade off 1 out of 2. Can you see that means same for 80? I cut this will be a value of 40. Okay, so that means overall I'm still taking away half from her. So it goes the same with any other fractions. Now we just do with 1 out of 5. So I'm going to cut this portion into 5 equal parts, shade away one of them. Okay, now for the 80 will be treated as 5 parts also. Now, but you do not have to literally cut into 5 parts, all right? So because why? Because 1/5 out of 80, you are able to calculate it out. So maybe just somewhere like that, this is the one that she's going to give away to John. Shade it away, and we are going to calculate out how much is this value of 1 out of 5. 1 out of 5 of 80. Okay, so we could give to John. Then we can proceed to do the step. All right, so giving to John will be 1 out of 5 multiplied by 80. Of course, some of you tell me to take 80 divided by 5. That's fine also. Okay, that works as well. So this shaded portion is a value of 16 sweets. Now, and of course, this remaining part is something I can work on as well. Okay, so we're going to find the value of this unshaded portion simply by subtracting 80 minus 16. Okay, and then put it back onto your model. Now, so for John, so Yenny, I've finished showing the shading off. Now, but later on, we're going to move the shaded parts to John. Don't forget. Okay, so for John, currently, I can still consider this as 5 units as well, same as Yenny, just cut into 5 equal parts. Now, and I'm going to redraw the model to show the new models that each person have now. Okay, so for Yenny, before I redraw, let's identify which parts are her new model now. Okay, so as we can see, we have the white color portions. The white color portions are the new values for her. which I can see is 1, 2, 3, 4 units as well as the 64. So when you redraw it, bring down exactly for you. You see the starting line and the ending line, bring it down very neatly. Okay, the 4 units and as well as the 64, make sure the size of the 64 remains as similar as possible. Okay, so there you go. This is Yenni's new model. Now, and I'm going to draw for John as well. Okay, so John, currently, this is his model worth of 5 units. All right, so I'm just going to bring that down. Now, however, don't forget that he is now going to receive the shaded portions because he's receiving from Yenny. Okay, so now the shaded portion, we have this 1 unit as well as the 16. So we are going to add on another 1 unit behind as well as the little 16 over there that you see. And we write the values in there. Okay, so you see I'm redrawing all the new models out in this second set of model. Okay, so once this is done, now finally, if you read the question, we have now a new difference of 20 more sweets. John now has 20 more sweets. So notice that I didn't label the 20 yet. Just now what I've just done is to redraw the models. So this 20 more, the new difference is the last thing you should put down on your model. And as we can see now, John's model is bigger than Yenny. The 20 will be the new difference. This part will be your 20. Okay, so done. Your model, you have completed first step, recording of data. Now the second step is how are you going to interpret the model? Okay, so looking at the model, you see all the values are concentrated here. All right, you have 64, you have 20, you have 16. Notice that this 64 and 20 side by side, okay, they are actually part of this portion. So I'm just going to draw my extended dotted line so that you can see that I need to work on finding the value of these 2 units. Okay, so that's our next step, finding the value of these 2 units. The in front 4 units, no use. Okay, that one is like the same. The only difference is here. So guys, to find your 2 units, now if you're confused with how to work around this portion, my suggestion is you look at your 64 and 20 first. Notice your 64, okay, it's from here to here, and your 20 continues right after it, here to the end here. Okay, so you can actually add up these 2 first. So when you add up these 2 means you're finding the value of this stretch to this stretch, which is 64 plus 20. I hope you can see that, okay? So 64 plus 20. Now, but as you can see, the red arrow is bigger than your 2 units because 2 units with 16 gives you this 64 plus 20. So to find these 2 units, you have to take your 84. 64 plus 20 is 84, right? And then minus away the 16 to get the remaining 2 units here. So I'm just going to do that in one step. 64 plus 20, and then minus 16 thereafter. Okay, so this is your 84. All right, so 2 units, now I know it's 68. Now, of course, next step is to find the value of 1U, just by division. Now, once you get 1 unit, always read back the final question. The question asks, how many sweets did Yenny give to John? So we want Yenny giving to John. So Yenny give to John will be the shaded portions. We have 1 unit shaded as well as a 16. So we have to perform 34 plus 16. So this plus this. And this will be the amount of sweets that Yenny gave to John.